Marie Skłodowska Curie, A Life That Changed the World. In the heart of Warsaw on November 7, 1867, a fragile yet determined girl named Maria Skłodowska came into the world. Poland did not exist as an independent country at that time. It lived under foreign rule, silenced and controlled. In many ways, Maria's life would mirror her homeland's struggle: quiet, patient, resilient, and ultimately transformative. Maria was born into a family that valued knowledge above all else. Her father, Władysław Skłodowski, was a teacher of physics and mathematics who filled their home with scientific instruments and books. Her mother, Bronisława, was a respected educator who ran a girls' boarding school. From her earliest years, Maria learned that education was not just a privilege, but a responsibility. However, tragedy entered her life early. When Maria was only 10 years old, her mother died of tuberculosis. The loss left a deep scar in her heart and forced Maria to grow up too soon. Soon after, the family faced financial difficulties, and Maria learned the meaning of sacrifice. She buried her grief in books and learning, finding comfort in logic and discovery. As Maria grew older, her intellectual hunger only intensified. She excelled in school, but her dreams faced a cruel obstacle. Women were forbidden from attending universities in Russian-controlled Poland. Instead of surrendering, Maria joined the Flying University, a secret educational movement where young women gathered at night to study science, literature, and philosophy in defiance of oppression. It was there that Maria's spirit of resistance quietly took root. To support her family and help her sister pursue medical studies, Maria worked as a governess in the countryside. Her days were long and lonely. She taught children during the day and studied advanced physics and mathematics late into the night. Often she felt torn between duty and ambition. In private letters, she confessed her loneliness, her exhaustion, and her burning desire for something more than the life she had been given. At the age of 24, Maria finally took a courageous step. With little money and great determination, she traveled to Paris to study at the Sorbonne. She changed her name to Marie, marking the beginning of a new chapter. Life in Paris was harsh. She lived in cold, unheated rooms, survived on bread and tea, and sometimes fainted from hunger during lectures. Yet her mind was alive. She absorbed knowledge with extraordinary intensity, graduating at the top of her class in physics and mathematics. It was during this period that Marie met Pierre Curie, a shy but deeply thoughtful physicist. Their connection was immediate, rooted not in romance alone, but in shared values and intellectual harmony. Pierre admired Marie's brilliance and independence. Marie found in Pierre a rare equal who respected her mind. They married in 1895, choosing a simple ceremony and bicycles for a honeymoon, a symbol of their modest, unconventional life. Together they entered the unknown. In a crude laboratory, more like a shed than a research facility, they began investigating mysterious radiation emitted by uranium. Marie worked tirelessly, stirring heavy boiling substances with iron rods, often unaware of the invisible danger surrounding her. Through years of exhausting labor, she discovered polonium, named after Poland, and radium, a glowing element that seemed almost magical. In 1903, the world finally took notice. Marie and Pierre Curie were awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics, making Marie the first woman in history to receive a Nobel Prize. Fame, however, did not change her. She remained modest, focused, and deeply uncomfortable with public attention. For her, science was never about recognition, it was about truth. Just 3 years later, tragedy returned. Pierre was killed instantly in a street accident, crushed by a horse-drawn carriage. Marie was shattered. Her grief was silent and consuming. She poured her pain into her work, refusing to abandon the scientific path they had walked together. She took over Pierre's position at the Sorbonne, becoming the first female professor in the institution's history. Balancing science and motherhood was not easy. Marie raised her daughters, Irene and Eve, with discipline, affection, and intellectual freedom. She believed women should be independent thinkers, not defined by social expectations. Irene inherited her mother's scientific passion and would later win a Nobel Prize herself, continuing the Curie legacy. When World War I erupted, Marie once again put humanity before herself. She developed mobile X-ray units, personally trained nurses, and drove through war zones to help wounded soldiers. These machines saved countless lives. She never asked for praise. Service was enough. Despite her extraordinary achievements, Marie lived simply and refused to patent radium, believing that scientific discoveries belong to all people. This moral decision cost her financially, but preserved her integrity. Unfortunately, years of radiation exposure slowly destroyed her health. At the time, no one understood the dangers of radioactive elements. In 1934, Marie Skłodowska Curie died of aplastic anemia, a disease caused by prolonged exposure to radiation. She died quietly, as she had lived, devoted to knowledge until her final breath. Today, Marie's legacy shines brighter than radium itself. She remains the only person to win Nobel Prizes in two different scientific fields, physics and chemistry. More importantly, she stands as a symbol of perseverance, courage, and intellectual freedom. Her story teaches us that greatness does not come from privilege, but from determination. That even in darkness, invisible light can change the world.